Hello and welcome to the very first YouTube stream. I have no idea what I'm doing or how to get to the interface, so bear with me for just a second. I cannot see chat or anything yet. Give me 1 second. Getting everything situated. Not exactly sure how any of this works. Okay, I can see the live now. Is there not an active chat on YouTube? How does that work? Here, we'll at least have the fucking flame on for y'all to look at while I try to figure this out.
America's newest idol. Let's go! And we're off to our first event, elective surgery, where our contestants sift through powdered anesthesia, grab a number chip, and dash to the corresponding spinal cord. Dr. Danny Lands and his surgical staff will spin the wheel and perform the unelective surgery. Let's get ready to play.
I have no idea how this works. Appreciate you hanging out with me. Give me a sec. We're gonna. Oh, it's right here. It says live.
The drugs won't take effect before the lucky number is called. And that, of course, the lucky number will represent the unelective surgical surprise package. And here's before makeover model Emma Butterface.
My pelvis is much too wide. I got a new cornea.
Get your desk, man. Oh, look there. There's Bozo makeover recipient, Jonathan Brown. Look, one of our contestants has gone under. Right, and more importantly, Dr. Lance has
Does YouTube not have a fucking active chat?
Elective surgical triple T package. Tummy tuck, tush lift, and big breast assist.
So the oil industry picks up the win, and more importantly, the unelective
Let me put the chat on the screen like that.
You're being rushed to the Neverland makeover and skin bleaching clinic. All right, you contestants, wish you luck.
Hi, Bunny. I see your chat, your message in chat here.
Texas teetotaler Patty Locke, our MNC Impact Replay. Yeah, she goes down hard. Indeed she does. Let's go down to Dee.
Oh, tell us your experience, huh?
All I know is I smelled burning hair and charred skin, and the next thing I know, I'm on my back. Someone could have done anything they wanted to me. See right there.
Well, would you like to see key on your back?
No, I think I'd rather swallow a bag of broken glass.
Well, there you have it. The oil team takes the lead, 1-0. And, of course, at the break, my makeover will begin. Ready to go?
Okay, I found it.
When NXT returns, it's Surfboard of Death. So sit on it and rotate, slag heap. NXT is back with fake boobers and Jimmy.
Alright, sorry, we're back. We're good to go now. I genuinely. Hi, Bunny. I see your cat in the box now. I had no idea how to get to the actual fucking page where it shows the home screen and the chat and everything for my actual YouTube page. But we found it. So we can see chat now. It says I can also. Yeah. Oh, my name does that. Whenever I do that. You got a little puppo.
Oh, that is awesome.
Settings, quality. What's our?
And here's oil pipe rimmer Hannah Gobbler.
I'm not supposed to be here.
Welcome to our inauguration. the inaugural stream. Here, let's see. Oh, there's Steven. We were looking for our 5-minute tiny diny. We'll do that. We'll get him hanging out there. What up, Jacob? Can I make this chat bigger? We're figuring everything out, but once we do figure everything out, we're going to assemble a couple rigs. Go there. Because you're supposed to see me more than the TV. Okay, there we go. You see Lucy down there, though. Gotta be a lot more specific than that, homie. There was a lot of people talking on TikTok. I am very excited for you to be here, though. Welcome to the inaugural stream. Click that like button while you're here. I have no idea if that does anything for us other than just like kind of adding it to the total count of likes we might have. I'm pretty sure we have super high latency right now too, because like with I think I can set the latency, but with Twitch the uploads is automatic. Oh, the one with the Red Max, hell yeah, man. Welcome, glad to have you here. We're trying to figure everything out with the stream before we get into the glass blowing, but we'll get into the stream very quickly. Because obviously that's what we're here for, is the glass blowing. We're going to finish out this bottle here. We'll make a Dewar joint for it. So we'll go through how to shape that, what goes into it. We made this one last night. And turn the light on. Show. Made this one last night. There's too much light. It's too much glare, but you can see what I mean. Our Dewar seals, I've worked on a lot. This one's not the cleanest, but I'll show you a real clean one. Everything I show is pretty much available as well if you see something you like. This is a Space Tech. Yeah, hang on, let me turn this light down. Space Tech on this one, but what I'm showing off more though on that is the Dewar seal. I've done thousands of these, so they end up pretty even. What up, Lucinda? And this we can't show on TikTok, so welcome to Adult Swim. Welcome to what we can't show already right now. This is a bong. This is a rig. This, hopefully, it doesn't break terms of service on YouTube. We'll find out. But, yes, I make this. This is what I make. What I can't show on TikTok. And this is what I mean when I say milk bottle. This is a milk bottle. The prep that we usually make ends up turning into this. But we're going to make one of these out of clear. We're going to show you how to make the downstem separate. We'll assemble it. We'll go through all that.
Served on the rocks. Right, Gerard again. Here he is past the grinder. Getting the ejaculator. Oh, and it looks like he has run aground.
It's funny that there's a dislike button too on YouTube. Imagine if people were just like on Twitch getting their shit disliked. That would be kind of disheartening. Terp Slurper, personally, I have not. Being in Texas, I'm pull my fucking pants up. Or the legs of these pants. It's warm in here already. Being in Texas, I don't often have access to very much concentrates. Flowers for sure, but yeah, concentrates not so much. So I definitely don't invest in nice nails or anything. I've got an import nail myself that I use whenever I do get to indulge.
And he does. He scores one for makeover. Look, you're buying some beer. Buy me some.
check my website.
Yeah, exactly. So that all that way too expensive for me to invest. That whenever I'm only gonna be able to use it once or twice a year, when I am blessed with the opportunity to have some oil on me.
I love that show. They get rid of your mullet, cap your
All right.
teeth, and they finally make it so you and your wife no longer look like brother and sister.
Obviously, what we need to do first, and I like this setup much better because you can see everything I'm working with and on, but it also reminds me I need to clean my fucking bench. But you can also see me work with the kiln now. The kiln stays at 1,000 degrees. I personally set it at 1050, just so every time you open that door, it doesn't drop down below 1,000 degrees too crazy or too bad. Yeah, the flour has to be good enough for you to use a hair straightener, but there's definitely ways to do it. But the flour is good around here if you can find it. Now that Oklahoma is medical, it's definitely a lot easier for some people. But y'all gotta remember that Texas is as big as most countries are. So me getting to Oklahoma is 3 hours, 2 hours.
Little trouble with the sponges, little dribble. A little soggy today coming up on the Empty Dragon. Let's see how she goes.
I have no idea how advertisements work on here either, or stuff like that. So let me know if y'all get an advertisement. Let me know if anything pops up. I'm curious to what we're working with. I'm also gonna scoot this. We're gonna go down with it and over. Because y'all don't need to see any of this. And I'm gonna have this clean at some point. You can see Lucy. You can see the dogs now too. Lucy. Lucy. There's Lucy. She just got a bath and a haircut. She smells real nice now. So, yeah, circus dog. I'm actually kind of glad there's latency on YouTube because I get to watch what y'all are seeing now whenever I walk towards the screen or walk back to the screen. 6 for you to get to Oklahoma. There's gotta be. Can I make this chat bigger? Pop out chat. Oh, pop out chat. Hang on.
See some balls get dirty on Bud Butler.
Tile to right side.
Between the natural gases and the man-made acids.
Now, look who's here. You, sir, Dr. Zhivago, are a
Oh, y'all, fuck yeah. I had no idea what I was doing, but look what I just did. Hopefully I can do this again the next time we go live. We have chat on one side and then our actual video on the other. I think that's just a setting on YouTube. I think YouTube just let me do that, which is already 10 times better than Twitch. Having to fucking squint and read over. That's why most people end up having a second fucking screen for chat going through, but now I can actually read it. That's pretty cool. Oh my god, there's so many controls here too. I can mute the mic. Wow, there's a lot of stuff. Fancy. Real fancy, huh? Okay. The very first thing we are going to do is change into shorts because these pants are hot. Give me 2 seconds.
Here, of course, Mike Ramsey. He does full toddler makeover. His latest innovation, hair plugs for both babies. Yeah, it turns the soft spots into hard tops. Thanks to our Ken. He's also the man who brought us liposuction. Yeah, now you don't have to pretend to be cute. Right to our Ken. There is a good position. Still too good when he's lined up. No, he can't. He one-handed that thing. Poor baby. He was beaten to death. Crack the window! Next up, Richard Longshade. He's an Alaskan deep driller. Yeah, he's known for his huge equipment.
Oh yes, much better. Alright, now, seriously, the first thing we're going to do is make that Dewar stem. We're going to start with clear. We're gonna start with 12mm clear. Doggos, y'all get out of here, licking my fucking legs. They scare the shit out of me sometimes. They'll walk up out of nowhere and lick the back of my leg. Scare the fuck out of me. Try to find one that's already. So as you know, 12mm and 12.7 come with a polished end from the factory. It's always easier just to use that one to do what we're about to do. Stay there, Aizawa. Stop it. Alright, sit down if you're not going to cooperate. And if you can't find the polished one, just find one that's got a nice edge, or a nice even edge to it. And we're going to take our jacks and flare it with one end of the jacks. We're not flaring it open, we're flaring it to start where we will, or not where we will, start the fitting for the 10mm male joint. So 10mm male joint, 12.7. We're gonna flare this just a little bit to where we can fit this into the inside here. Heating it up specifically and getting it right each time takes practice, so this is going to be something you'll need to practice a lot. The edge here isn't perfectly even, so we want it to be perfectly flat. Take a paddle to it, 100% flat before we start. And you're going to start with just that front edge. And again, your jacks, your reverse tweezers. And just start it. Don't flare it. Just get your jacks in there. And then you're going to heat where it starts to flare out. Where it starts to flare out, you're going to put one side of the jacks in and flare it. And then do the same thing. It might take 2 or 3 times, but what that is doing is elongating the bottom of that flare instead of the outside edge of it. See? And so about right here, this is probably already perfect for a 10mm. I've done this so many times. The muscle memory just kind of does it each time. Let's see. Almost. So the next time we heat this up, heat the entire thing up. And take it to your marver with your 10mm and then fit it with a little bit of the lip of your 12.7 sticking out, or sticking over the 10mm. So we have this fitted now with that first move, not going anywhere. But we have just like a couple millimeters hanging over, and that's going to be where we're going to put the Maria for where we're attaching it to the rig, or where we're dropping the downstem. But it's not technically a Maria, it's going to be a flared Maria. The headless cordsman? I do not. Again, we are taking our jacks, and you want to do this in one move. I'm going to try to do this in one move. You're going to heat up just the end of where you left extra. Stick in and then flare all the way out. One move, just like that. I got it almost perfect just that first try, like that. But either way, even if you get it perfect, you're going to take your graphite and you're going to press on the outside edge. Don't press in all the way, just press on the outside edge to really fold it over, and then press it, sandwich it in between your marver and your pad. And there you go. that's how you make not only a 10 millimeter Dewar, but also a 10 millimeter fancy joint. So now you got perfect size joint all the way around. You can cut it here, blow this out, and attach it from one side, and you'll have a banger hanger. You can attach it straight 45 degree, but what we're gonna use it for is keep this here, cut it about here, pop some holes down here, and then you got a Dewar stem ready to drop into your rig. If you're using clear, you don't really have to worry about these. I just set them down, let them bench cool for now. No, nice, hell yeah, I'll for sure check them out. New toy to the divergent mind, I like that. So again, for example, this is the Dewar that we will be working with, or the type of seal that we'll be working with. This has that 10 millimeter built in, of course. Bunny, I see you messaging. Hang on, let me set this down and I'll check those. But the key to sealing this Dewar in is not tacking it in any places on here. You're just wanting to seal that outside lip around the edges here that we folded over. And this is a good technique for everything, literally everything. If you're making ash catchers, just fucking drop a Dewar seal in it. You don't even have to add another part up here. You have a 10 millimeter built in. Same exact move. And the same move for making a banger hanger, same move for making a 45 degree joint, same move for 14 millimeter as well. Make the 14, this one didn't come out as clean on the bottom, but make the 14 as well and flare it out, exact same thing. A skill that will come in handy often. Nah, Lucinda, he was talking to me. All right, and again, we are working with this bottle shape. What we're going to do is indent in. Hang on, I'm actually gonna take the chat away from here so I can see better. We're gonna indent halfway, which will create a 45 degree angle, which is much easier to hang stems at. So we're gonna do this. Much easier to hang a stem at that angle than trying to pop a hole just on this 45 degree surface.
So, you're a movie executive. Do you think you could make an animated movie about these lions?
I don't know. I got an idea.
An animated movie with lines would never.
So again, first thing is making that indention. We'll take our hand torch, and I'm not sucking in or anything. We're just gonna let the natural air cave in on itself. Start from the top and go down. Again, we're gonna take this about halfway in. Just like that. And then as it's cooling, give it a couple inhales. Sucks, I mean obviously not inhales, but. And then when we go back in, you're going to focus your mini flame right in the middle here. Because it's a little bit thicker there, and it'll give you more surface area to pop out. If you go too low, it'll blow out on the thinner glass. So right there. I do the Squidward walk whenever I don't want to put too much air into it. Just like that. Flip it. Again, always work with gravity on your side. Once you've got that much of a hole, take it back to your torch. Don't press in. Use this to block the air and blow out. But not blow out to where you're sealing the hole. What we're doing is trying to create a lip. This is where we will seal our downstem to. Just like that. Hi, Lucinda. I appreciate you and your support. So again, oops, accidentally hit the Xbox. The stem is going to go down straight this way, whereas if we tried to seal it again on a angle like this, it would just go straight to the back. Now we go down. And now we have that lip all the way around where our Dewar will sit. Just like that. And of course you want to make sure the hole that you have here is the right size for the Dewar to sit flush without the actual joint touching the glass. Remember, we're only sealing the lip of that joint. This goes in the kiln. Water goes in me. Oh, thank you, Bunny. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me on our very first YouTube stream ever. I have a feeling this is going to be a lot more popular than the Twitch was, just because everyone has YouTube. Not everyone has a Twitch, just because Twitch is pretty specialized. And this very first stream isn't going to be the longest, but after we get used to everything, we will be going live for extended times. Usually, or most likely, probably like 1 a.m. all the way to like 5 a.m. We'll do some late nights. Yeah, so you have to warm an opal up. Opals that get used in glass blowing, I have one over here actually, I'll show you. Opals that get used in glass blowing are synthetic. They are not from the earth. They are synthetically made, and they have to be warmed up to the same temperature as the glass you're going to be encasing them in. This is an opal coin that I lensed and then attached to. So it's not actually this big. The clear lens of glass that we have on it magnifies it. I love opals so much. And again, this is synthetic, so each one of those little angles you see in there is synthetically made to try and recreate natural opal, of course. And they do a really good job of it, if I do say so myself. Yeah, definitely can't just go straight at it. Make yourself like a little boat. Also, don't touch it with your fingers. Use your tweezers. Any oil that you get on the surface of that will cause bubbles. Make yourself a little boat that has a little opening on the top. Like, just have one of these and blow out this section here, and then you have a little boat that you can put different things that you want to attach or warm up at the bottom here. Toss it in your kiln, and then you take that out and then grab it with your tweezers. And you got little kiln boat. Always down to check it out, Jacob. What we're gonna do next is I prefer carbon over wax. Some people wax their joints while they're working with them here. I'd much rather use carbon. Wax can create, if you seal wax in and then burn it, it'll ruin your piece. Don't use wax unless you're using it on your tools. But what we're gonna do, cut this at the bottom here and switch axes. Whenever you pull this, you always want to give it a solid tap on the surface of the table. So just a good on the bottom here to lock that joint in. Now it's not going anywhere. I have a Phantom, yeah, GTT Phantom. Red Max, you'll be good for your first couple years on. You probably won't even need to upgrade unless you're doing crazy stuff, which most people don't. Most people do end up upgrading to a GTT though. We're talking about the brand of torch right now. For anybody who is not privy to the verbiage. Alright, let's see how close we're going to be. As we're popping holes, we're also going to check the angle of the dangle. So, as you can see, we have a gap here. We're going to want to angle this in more. And how we can do that is after we pop the holes in it, you use the heat from popping the holes to then bend this down. Oh, come here. There you go. I've been doing 2 holes in a line lately. Instead of like the typical hognose perk, I like the 2 holes in a line better. But again, this is the flame chemistry we use to heat things up without actually melting them. And what that's going to allow us to do is stop spinning this at a specific point, give it a little pressure, and it starts to bend on us. And so what I like to do is when it starts to bend, get it on up in here, and then press it on in. And just like that, we've closed the gap that was there, as well as given it the proper spacing in the back. And this is ready to seal now. Both of these go into the kiln to reach the same temperature, and then they will become one. Tap tap on the glass, call a piece ass. That's how you disengage the pieces with soot. Sometimes they get locked in pretty good and you gotta tap a tap. Yeah, number one thing is going to be memorizing like the position of everything. It's just like riding a bike. The number one thing I would recommend right now is just getting your spin down. keep something on hand at all times where you can just practice going like this and work on getting this completely even in the same spot. And then after you get that completely mastered, get another piece that's a different weight. And then start practicing trying to run them at the same speed. Looks like a robot, right? But it's my hands. And you have to learn how to keep it going too. Opposite directions as well, because you sometimes have to heat stuff up at different rates. But yeah, this is the number one thing you'll have to learn is articulation of the fingers. You gotta do it upside down, you gotta do it over, you gotta do it the other way, you gotta match it like this, same speed. Yeah, that's the number one thing you need to learn. Everything else comes after that. And that's one thing about glass blowers is no matter what they have in their hands, they will be doing that. I pick the remote controller up. If it's even remote, get it remotely. Fuck, I'm funny without even goddamn trying. Even if it's just remotely, like, able to fit in my hand, I'm rotating it, which builds the muscles in your hands. That's why my hands look like this. I got veins that go up my fingers. I'm also lifting too, so that adds to that. But Bunsen burner, don't need it. Unless you're banjo with 1,000 attachments on a piece. That's more so if you just don't want to use your kiln. It's not being lazy, it is a shortcut, which is always a good thing. Shortcuts are always good, but you could just as soon just toss it in your kiln. And in my opinion, if you're not using it on a lathe where it's staying there, you run thermal shock. You run the risk of thermal shock, which is exactly the same as if you were to put it in a flame, just like this. Thermal shock will happen with flames. It won't happen with your kiln as much. If it was going to crack and you put it in your kiln and it cracks, it was going to crack either way. Yeah, you don't need a Bunsen burner, especially with pendants. Work on heat transfer. Everything can be bench cooled. If you bench cool something and it cracks, you didn't do it right. I can bench cool entire pieces where I've hung down stems. You can bench cool everything that's clear. Anything that's clear you can bench cool. It doesn't matter how many attachments or crazy things you got going on with it. But it will eventually need a kiln cycle to anneal, of course. But I bench cooled this multiple times as I was working on it. This got bench cooled 2 or 3 times until I put this on. You don't want to bench cool encased things. You don't want to bench cool marbles or big solid stuff. Solid things, no bueno. Don't want to bench cool that. I actually don't think I've posted, or this is on a few posts back on the page. This is the best recycler I've ever made. It's a Klein recycler. It's got the drain built in. Tornado, go, 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 go. Yeah. So I could bench cool this entire thing as well. It's all about flame control and making sure your seals are perfect. Gotta make sure them seals are your friend. All right, let's seal arf that down stem. And this is going to take you a long time to learn. That Klein, I would let go for 420.
Today it's the romance industry versus the firearm industry. It's the classic battle between Cupid's bow versus Cupid's AK-47.
You might be able to convince me to let it go for a little bit less than that. I've had it for a little bit. Would much rather it see some use. Always warm up your tools before grabbing the pieces. The thermal shock can crack that as well. This doesn't need to be like that. We're just going to use this to light the mini torch. Position it, angle just right.
Cupid's a chair. How would you enter a chair? I called him a fat midget. Oh, that's a story.
And we're gonna tack one side first. Boop, just like that. Little circles like you're welding. Tap it down if you need to. And as soon as it starts moving, you keep going. I'm gonna reposition it. Make sure everything stays even. After I get half, I come down and do the same thing to the front half. Little circles. Just like, oh, then turn it off all the way. Then while it's still hot, take the same 10 millimeter that you used to fit it earlier. Make sure it's coated in carbon and give it a couple twists as you're pushing. And there you go. That 10 millimeter is not going anywhere. Warm it up in the flame one more time. If you don't do this secondary warm up, get it red hot to where you can actually move it around one more time. It will crack on you. Heat it up 2 times. And there you go. Hot glass looks like cold glass. This is hot glass, but we have sealed a 10 millimeter door. These you can bench cool if you trust them. I don't ever fucking trust these, so into the kiln it will go. But again, we only sealed just that lip that we had made earlier, and the actual joint itself is hanging freely on the inside. And into the kiln it goes. If it lasts 30 seconds in the kiln without cracking, you made it. You did it. It's gonna crack within the first 30 seconds of it going in there. How much for a piece like that? It depends on what color we're going for. This, I'll let go for 100 shipped. This is Space Tech that we like to work with. And that's including shipping. Shipping is fucking crazy expensive lately. The carbon buildup? What do you mean? It doesn't strengthen anything. It will act as a buffer layer between the flame and the glass though.
Or maybe a big box of chocolates or sex toys. Right, you like it. You know, sometimes our egos get in the way, but you know, it's all about the wings. But
Like I was saying, we're gonna try to keep this stream somewhat short, so we're gonna finish this piece and then probably call it there, but we're gonna silver fume this piece a little bit. Oh, the recycler, but just not straight clear. This one is actually, this one that has some color to it is actually up for auction right now on the Instagram. The opening bid is 100 on this one, and you actually might get it for that as well, because not many people are dropping money on glass right now, and you might get it just for the opening bid, because the opening bid is the reserve. We also are hosting a raffle. We have this big honkin' lava lamp that I made that you could win for only $10. $10 per spot for these tickets. Winner will be chosen at random. Got that going for a little bit. Yeah, I understand that for clear. For recyclers, I always like having at least a little bit of it clear so you can see the water recycle through it. But yeah, pretty much everything I show on stream is available or can be remade again. So if you see something you like, just be like, how much is that? Pretty dog in the window there. And we'll get you hooked up. Yeah, that lava lamp you could win for 10 bucks. That's crazy, right? Fuming for color on most things, yes. Fume over cobalt, fume over emerald green, fume over any color will get you different tones of space. Black is a good base as well, but fume over clear and you get yellows, greens, blues, and sometimes reds depending on it. But this is baked in. This is not just surface fume. This is fume started at the very beginning that gets blown out and expanded and baked into the actual glass. So you can do surface fume, you can do spackle fume, which is what this is, which is just very low oxygen fuming, which just kind of exactly what it sounds like, spackles that silver onto the face of it. You can fume for color for a lot of different things. Fume is all about flame chemistry. The number one thing for fuming is your flame. So crank your oxygen, just a tiny bit of open, or crank your propane, just a tiny bit of open oxygen. You are going to be using the red in the tip of the candle. Just the very tip of the candle underneath it. Don't put the silver all the way in there. And you just want to heat it up to just molten and it'll start gassing. You take it out, you put it back in, heat it up, gas. We're about to do that right now, actually. So I'll explain that as we walk through it. Oh, it cracked. I lied. Hang on. It's just a little crack though. This is the healing flame. This flame is what you put your pieces in when they do crack, which it heats it up nice and slow. If you heat it all the way up to temperature, very slow, sometimes those cracks heal on their own. And this happens often. You don't make it out of making dewars every day without breaking a few eggs, if you know what I mean. Which is fine. Most of the time you can just torch them in a couple times and they're good to go, but if not, and you need to sell it as a seconds piece, then do so. Like I said, this happens often. Usually we can just torch it right back in, which is what we're going to end up being able to do now. Torch it, give it a little blowout. Get your joint back in there and give it a couple twists. There we go. And again, we are going to silver fume this, so flame chemistry. We're only using one of the candles for it. It's a very bottom candle. Heating it up and bringing it back out. Heating it up and taking it away. Heating it up and taking it away. Because if we leave it in the flame, then it will melt the silver too much and not actually fume it. But with heavy fuming, you get this nice surface crazy color, like that right there. This is what you do to get the blue color as well, but you do this at the very beginning. You fume your blank at the very beginning like that, and then work with it normally, and you get this color, that blue, yellow, sometimes green. Yeah, of course. This is what I do normally. I'm just happy someone actually understands what I'm talking about this time. Yeah, only silver to fume. Gold is expensive, of course. You can get a whole fucking coin of silver that's gonna last you your entire glassblowing career for like 15 bucks, and you'll have enough fucking silver to fume every piece you could ever want forever and ever. I've had this. Oh, where are you? There it is. I've had this same ounce of silver for the entirety of my glassblowing career, and you just take little snippets out of it with I use wire snips, just the very edge of them, snip snip. But that 1 ounce silver has lasted me 8 years, and I still have probably 3-4 years more with it. And it becomes color changing. Yeah, the way that works is it's not actually color changing itself. As we talked about on TikTok, color is just the light rays that reflect back at you that your eyes pick up. So depending on what it's backed with is what color will reflect. So if we back it with black, it reflects all those colors back at you. But again, if we let color pass through it, it changes. Or if you look at it from a different angle and then you back it with black. So this black, sorry if I'm yelling into the camera, this black is resin. This black is what your medicine leaves behind. As we know, we all have to clean our pieces, but before we clean them, it layers this black on the inside. So color changing glass is color changing because you use it. And they say, well, the more you use it, the more it changes colors. It's not changing more colors, it's just showing you more of the color that was actually there the entire time. A file? Yeah, that works. I've seen people do that. You're probably using way too much silver though. Because this little chunk I can use for implosions as well by just heavy silver fuming the surface of it. And this is going to last me probably a week, this chunk that I have on the edge there, which isn't that big, but is actually pretty big for what most people use it for. A lot of people are super aggressive with their flames too. They use a flame like this to fucking load that silver on there. And I'm just like, no dude, if you just nice flame it like that and keep it at the right temperature, you can heavy fume the shit out of stuff. Heavy fume is the way to go. Leaves cool colors behind, and is how you get the color changing. Ron Jeremy. All right, again, this ended up fine. It ended up cracking across the top, just where the Dewar meets here, because there's a lot of stress built up in here, and it did not like that, so it released that stress. But we melted it back in, moved it around a little bit, which means we moved that stress around, hopefully meaning it's not going to give out. Yeah, exactly. You're cleaning out the backing layer of that color. So you're taking away kind of the brightness of it, I guess, since it's allowing that light to pass through it now instead of reflecting it back in your eyes to pick up that color. Science! We learn a lot blowing glass. So we're going to take our claw tool, grab on to the bottom of this piece so we can take it off the handle that's attached to the top of it. Of course, always warm up your tools. You don't want to put a cold tool onto a hot piece. It might cause temperature fail, or temperature transfer that will cause it to fail. Make sure you spin it nice and even from different areas that you're holding it. Let go almost of the left side and spin it with the right one. Make sure it's going to spin even. Sometimes I cold seal up to this, but it's not that cold. It's not cold enough to break this time, at least. This little 2mm rod comes in handy a lot. When I first started blowing glass, I accidentally ordered an entire case of it. Entire case of this size. Because I thought it was the size people use for punties. And I still have a bunch of it left. I have not been able to use all of it, but I found a lot of uses for it. If I ever run out, I'm going to need to order more because it's a staple part of my my tools and stuff, you know. I use those to make bridges a lot. To bridge up to stuff. And secure them. Make sure it's nice and even. Give it a couple good spins. Give it the old spin cycle. And again, heat will make your fumes show up different. So we're about to fume the neck of this, the opening of it. And because I was just working with it, because it's now hot, it's going to take that fume a lot better than the glass around it. And you'll see the results of that in just a sec. So, because it was hot, you can see the color gradient where it was hotter out to here and colder down this way. It'll pick up the silver at different rates, but also the variation of fume that I laid on there gives it kind of striations, and this will turn a different color than this, and this will turn a different color. All those different concentrations of fume that you see in there, so you see orange, blue, green, all that will show up once we actually start to use it and build that black background for it. And that's how you make a Dewar rig. Yeah, you can go to any pawn shop too. If you go to pawn shops, they have loose silver a lot of times. Funny enough, people actually use filings, or fillings, I mean, people's fillings from their teeth. If people are in real tough spots, they'll sell their own fillings, or, you know, grave robbers will go and get other people's. So long as it's 99.9%, ooh, excuse me, snuck up on me. 99.9% pure silver, you're good to go. Fume with it. Run to a thrift shop, grab one from the guy. But yeah, it's definitely a lot harder than what I make it look. Yeah, definitely learn basics before messing with that, especially if you don't have an entire setup yet, because silver or any sort of fuming is not good for your health. You want to make sure you have full ventilation, and even though I have full ventilation, I still don't breathe pretty much while I'm doing that. I don't go, because yeah, bad for you. Alrighty friends, we are approaching an hour, which is I think going to be perfect for our very first stream. It gives people the opportunity to watch what we're going to be doing in our live streams, as well as a video to watch that's not ridiculously long, to see what we're going to be doing. Like I was saying, once we start getting more people in here, and since this was our first inaugural stream and we know what we're doing now, how to set up the computer, we'll be going live a lot more often. We're going to be doing prep work on TikTok and then live here every single night. Because it's my job. I do this for a living. So why not have people hanging out with me, teaching, recording it for to be saved to the cloud forever and ever. We'll be back live TikTok tomorrow or later tonight. I always say tomorrow, but probably around midnight. That's Central Time. Maybe around 11 Central Time. We'll probably do an hour, maybe an hour and a half of prep. because we always have to make sure all of our tools and stuff are ready to be used, and then we'll switch it over to here. I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me on our very first stream on YouTube. Thank you for being here, and I will see you guys next time. We have exactly 1 hour. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for being here. Don't change. Don't ever change. You're very good looking, if anybody hasn't told you lately, and I'm proud of you for being here and being you. All right, bye. You need to keep the event and resume it later.